Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance podcast, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for any and all things Star Wars. And I just noticed we have a Moon Knight background right now. We're going to fix that really fast. But y'all, it has been a day. May the 4th be with you, everyone. I am joined by the one and only co-host, Clay. Clay, how are you doing on this Star Wars day?
I am doing really, really well. We were questioning it in the GUA chat yesterday on whether we would get a trailer today. We said it was basically on brand for Disney Plus to be like, hey, one show is ending, so let's promote the very next show. And that seems to be the case because bright and early this morning, I woke up to the rest of the chat saying, hey, I've seen Moon Knight. Oh, and by the way, here is a trailer coming soon. So I'm really, really glad that I woke up to that trailer. We're going to be reviewing The Force Awakens later on in this episode. And for May the 4th, I went ahead and watched 2 of my favorite episodes of Star Wars Visions.
Ooh, yeah. I ordered Star Wars shirts last week because I was like, I don't really have a Star Wars shirt. So I got my Millennium Falcon blueprint
I need to
shirt
update
on.
mine. I think I have 3. I have the Mandalorian and Grogu, then I have the Christmas Grogu, and then I have the two Stormtroopers on the beach shirt. I need more Star Wars shirts for sure.
I got 4. It was like a traditional logo shirt with like the yellow logo and everything. The like old school A New Hope poster. It kind of looks like that guy.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a Grogu shirt that says "Don't make me use the Force," and Matt is wearing that one right now. Because
nice.
We both wear the same size in shirts, so we share a lot. But y'all, we got a lot to talk about today. We had some really cool, a lot of news come out actually over the past week. Some of it good, some of it not. We'll talk about it. And obviously we've got the trailer and we've got The Force Awakens. So y'all, today's going to be busy. Before we get into it, we got to hit the podcast paperwork side of things. So like I said, Star Wars Alliance is a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network. We have 8 shows, 7 days a week. Once a month on Sundays, you've got World's Finest True Believers with Chris. Every other Monday, is Slice of Film. And then the opposite Monday is Ranger Alliance. Tuesdays is DC Alliance. Wednesdays is Superhero Discussions. Thursdays, you're here, it's Star Wars Alliance. Fridays is Marvel Alliance, and every other Saturday is a walk through the multiverse. We do have 3 shows that go live every single week. DC goes live on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Star Wars Alliance, you're here, goes live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Marvel Alliance goes live Thursday nights at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those 3 shows do also have their own solo feeds. So if you're interested in just listening to them, you can take that opportunity and go listen to them there. Again, that's Marvel, DC, and Star Wars Alliance. There are 3 ways to support the podcast. One is by listening to the ads in every single episode. Yes, we are an ad-supported network, and we greatly appreciate all the ads you listen to. Clay or I will try and give you a warning just before those ads are to occur, but just so you know now, we don't get to choose who the ads are from, nor how loud the ads are, nor how many times you hear the same ad in the same episode. If you don't want to listen to ads and are able to do so, we are also on Patreon, which is the second way to support us. The $1 tier helps keep the Kyber Crystals charged down here, and the $5 tier gets y'all ad-free episodes, exclusive episodes, and any early episodes we may drop. The third and final way to support us is to rate and review on your favorite podcatcher of choice. That's the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast feed if you're listening on there, or the solo feeds for any of the 3 main shows. So we greatly appreciate those. They do help put the network or the podcast into the feeds of other listeners who may not be following us on social media. We will be talking about spoilers for The Force Awakens today. I know, it's an older movie. I say older movie. It's only like 7 years old. Like 6?
2015. I
Is
want
it
to say
2015 or is it 2016?
I want no, it can't be 16 because I got married to Abby in 2016. I think it was 2015.
Okay, yeah, it says 2015. I took my ex-boyfriend to that before I started dating Matt. So I thought I was dating him in 2016, but I may have broken up with him before that. I don't know. Whatever. Not that big a deal. Y'all,
But yeah,
I
so
am
that would
tired.
be almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
So it has been a while, but some people haven't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back and listen to our review. But we do, like Katie said, have a lot of news. We do have a trailer breakdown because of that glorious Kenobi trailer. And then, of course, we will go on to review The Force Awakens.
Yes. So with that, we're gonna dive on into it. As a lot of people know who are in the Star Wars community, Star Wars Eclipse is supposed to be a High Republic based video game, and it is currently in production by Quantic Dream. And Quantic Dream has had some issues in the past with their LGBTQ representation, as well as their female representation in their video games. So not a lot of people were thrilled by this. You will see the hashtag Blackout Star Wars Eclipse on Instagram and Twitter, and you're able to kind of dive into those posts on there. But Quantic Dream did release a statement this week to serve as a public update regarding its company cultures and values. Several of the bullet points included within the statement directly address LGBTQ representation both within its projects and the company creating said projects. The main quote of interest basically says they're partnering with LGBTQIA plus organizations to advise on authentic representation of those characters, stories, and themes in their games. Training sessions and brainstorms have already started. The LGBTQIA plus community has nominated representatives to ensure that diverse voices and authentic representations are infused in everything that we do, and that a diversity of viewpoints are represented at all levels in the studio. And then it continued to highlight their internal LGBTQ representation to support its claims, and said that members from the community have been present at the studio since its creation. Many have seniority of 10 years or more in the company, occupying all positions and levels of responsibilities. It also pointed to half of their management being women, and that any employee is allowed to report issues in the workplace anonymously. And it concludes by saying, to ensure that our core values and beliefs are clear and represented, we will continue to broaden ourselves, make our workplace the safest environment, and further support communities and our own team here at Quantic Dream. And obviously, this is just a statement. Obviously, nothing's going to be accurate until we see it. So the companies can make promises, but until they follow through with it, like we've seen from like statements at Disney, Lucasfilm, that have gotten a lot of heat for like their Pride months and everything, they've got to follow through with it. So
well, I was going to ask you, does this sound or feel, and like you said, we will not know until we actually see the actual product, but does this feel genuine?
I think you could kind of follow it from one of two directions. You could go, okay, you've gotten all of this heat since the announcement of the game, and the announcement of the game was probably like December, January-ish, I want to say.
Yes.
So if it was genuine, then I would have wanted to, like, you could go, okay, it would have been more genuine to kind of approach this up front and go, okay, here's some things we address. But I mean, they clearly put a lot of thought into this statement. So you can kind of boil it down two ways. You want to put a lot of thought into a statement like this, where you want to make sure that you're coming across genuine and everything. But to take 5 months to do it, 4 months, somewhere in that range,
Yeah.
It seems like a while to let this kind of fester in the waters, and it like there's no backup from what I can tell from the organizations which they're partnering with. They're just kind of generalizing and saying, okay, we're partnering with these because I pulled this statement up directly because I was using the Dork Side of the Force's article on it. But the first statement literally just says we are partnering with an LGBTQIA organization to advise on authentic representation. But that doesn't say who it is.
Yeah,
You could be partnering with a
nobody
very
from the,
minor.
from what we have seen yet, nobody from those organizations have come out to say, "Hey, we are welcoming this team of developers to create these characters for this game." I see this in two ways. One thing that we have talked over and over again is the High Republic definitely has a large variety of representation within their novels, within their comics, and from what we've have seen, even their, of course, audio dramas. So there should be a part of us that can say, oh, we trust that since this is going to be in the High Republic era, everything that we have seen move from novels to comics is also going to be, shown in this video game. The only problem that I also see is if this is the way you wanted to go as far as the game, would you necessarily want to go with the developers that have had a history of not being great with their representation or having said very vulgar things towards those demographics? Like, you that's the one thing that kind of worries me. This is just really from me looking at this statement, reading the statement, listening to this statement. It kind of sounds like, hey, people are not happy with us. We need to save face for sure. So let's see what we can do in order for people to actually want to buy this game. Now,
Yeah.
there are certain individuals that this is just not a big problem for them, and they're going to buy the game anyway. And more power to them. But there should always be a portion of your audience, because what I'm really getting at is what I hate to hear is I hate this forced diversity. Like, I'm sorry that people exist. Like, that is really what you if there is a forced diversity in things, then you think that life is forced by diversity. That's what you think.
Yeah.
And I think that's ridiculous. So it should be organic. It should just be that, hey, these characters, these kinds of characters, can be in any kind of game, whether it be Star Wars related or not. So I will definitely be waiting to see how intensive they go with this,
Yeah.
because they can hire this organization to put really like well-versed 3 characters in this game. And is
Yeah.
that enough? Is it not enough? That's when I will be interested to see how the audiences take it, you know?
Yeah, because I think they needed to provide a little more depth into the statement. It's very much a PR driven focus. They do link and say that they're engaged with the diversity charter promoted by French organizations. Um, and then they list it and then they read the diversity charter. But they say employees from the LGBTQIA plus community are employed, but that doesn't say where they're employed. They're not employed like developers or anything. And that community is very widespread. Like you can find people around to consult, and maybe not necessarily they have to be involved at every level of the game, but definitely in terms of like quality analysis, business analysis, like people to go, okay, is this appropriate? Like, so I think I'll believe it when I see it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And yeah.
Yeah. So what is next on the docket?
Right. So we have reports from Ian McDermott himself. I think I can't remember what conference he was or convention he was at, but he stated at like a panel that he was going to be making a vocal appearance, is what I believe he said, at in a future Star Wars show. Now, obviously, you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, Bad Batch, Andor, heck, even Mandalorian, Mandalorian season 3,
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Like, you could have all of these places where he could show up, and so that's kind of interesting to me. Especially the fact that he says vocal, and not like just appearance. So, what do you think?
That's interesting that he says vocal appearance. Because I mean, you would immediately assume, oh, if it's only voice work, then it has to be the Bad Batch, but that's not necessarily true
Yeah,
because of the way he has been shown slash, well, I guess just shown in the live action stuff. You could very well have him as somewhat of a uh, a force, not a force ghost, but a force echo, should I say,
yeah,
um, in any of these movies or shows. So I we talked about this very briefly because we wanted to share most of our thoughts here on the show. But I said in our Star Wars chat that I definitely think that it will be Kenobi. And the reason why I think it will be Kenobi is I think that uh, the heavy story with Darth Vader is going to show or vocalize the words of Palpatine towards Vader's mission, whatever it may be, in Kenobi.
yeah. And the direct quote says, "There's a certain show coming soon, set around the time I may have been considered to be very active. Whether or not you'll see my physical body, I cannot comment on, but you will certainly feel my presence." So, a Darth Vader communication is very plausible. However, I could definitely see um like the final order, which is what Ahsoka's going to run into in the limited series there. I could see the final order being very involved with Thrawn, um and kind of picking and choosing places of where to go, because Thrawn was very involved with the Emperor and kind of said, okay, we can both help each other. So I think that could be plausible too, because we know that after Return of the Jedi, he transported himself into a clone, and the clones didn't last very long. So,
S Bubs, Vader calls him on the phone, not a hologram. A communicator, S Bubs. Come on now. We are
yeah,
canon accurate here.
communicator, the little Schick razor thing from
Yeah,
the 2000s.
yeah. But I'm very excited to have his return. I know that technically, yes, we did get him in the Rise of Skywalker. Uh, I wanted a little bit more of him, but it's like any cameo. We just want more. We want to see them. We want to see how they are interpreted as far as like how they use the cameos and whatnot. And I I feel like Palpatine's character, because he is the puppet master behind everything, that he can really be put anywhere, and it makes sense.
Yeah, I do wish they'd have a little more separation from the Skywalker saga. You and I've talked about that extensively, just like kind of broadening horizons. But I think it especially makes sense for Obi-Wan Kenobi to have that. There were reports that the royal guards, the royal senatorial guards, were are going to be in Andor in some way, shape, or form, but also Masameda is supposed to make an appearance in that show. So it could also be that they're for him because Masameda was vice chancellor.
Yeah.
So either way, I could see very logical. But And with him having a panel at Star Wars Celebration, I think it's going to be one of prominence. Because I honestly, and we're going to get into this later, but I don't know how much we're going to see Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, I know he's there, and obviously that's the last shot of the trailer. But it would be interesting to see them play more to Hayden Christensen's strength as a physical actor instead of hiding him behind a costume and diving into Clone Wars flashbacks.
So this isn't a spoiler whatsoever, but there is, I will go ahead and say it, already a video out there that is apparently behind the scenes footage of a confrontation with Vader. I didn't think it was real, so I watched it, and then S-Bubs over here was immediately put it into the chat and was like, hey, by the way, this seems to be real. And I was like, what am I doing? But I see you saying I don't think we're going to see Vader a whole lot. You can technically say seeing Hayden is still technically seeing Darth Vader. So
seeing Hayden, though, he's only Darth Vader as Hayden for maybe 16 hours, if best. So how much are we really going to get of pure Hayden as Vader?
And again, we make this joke. I'm putting it on the screen now. As Bubs is saying, Return of the Flashbactas. We have heard in earlier reports that there is going to be a lot, or at least some of Hayden Christensen's character being seen as Vader in the Back to Tanks, like he does to heal his wounds and stuff. Because again, this is going to be fairly recent to all of that, and so those wounds are fresh. He's going to need to have a lot of healing. So I can see there being the flashbacks.
It isn't necessarily soon after, because this is set 10 years after Return.
True.
Not Return of the Jedi. Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. But I say fairly soon in the sense of, like, in his 10 years of having molten lava hit his body, yeah. I think you will have healing for a lot longer than that, you know? And so I do think that I can see the flashback just coming back. I can see, and we're all hoping and praying for Clone Wars flashbacks. I know Snell doesn't want it because he's tired of the dark times. He doesn't want to be in Clone Wars era whatsoever anymore. But I can see Hayden being that presence. But again, I guess I'm just going to be agreeing with Snell this whole episode. But like Snell has said, I'm not entirely sure if Disney is going to look at Hayden as like this strong acting presence more so than he is just a very great cameo appearance to come back to, you know? So
I think if they were doing that, then I would not see them pulling him in for Ahsoka. I would have said this is basically...
It hasn't been official yet, Katie. You can't say he's in Ahsoka.
Rosario Dawson literally tweeted, "I'm reuniting with Sky Guy. I love it," or whatever she said. Like,
yeah.
But yes, I know it's not been on StarWars.com, and I'm still like pissed about it because literally Ahsoka was supposed to start filming, and we're gonna get into this. Ahsoka was supposed to start filming in January, and now it's still not filming.
I don't know what their deal is with that. Again, S-Bubs, I'm so grateful for your video meme of me because again, it's just like it is hard being a DC and Star Wars fan because these moves that they are making are not the greatest. And I'm really hoping come 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, we are going to be getting a lot of news and a lot of concrete, hey, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. Like, That's what I
Yeah,
want from Celebration for sure.
I really wish, honestly, that they had not moved Celebration, because Celebration was originally supposed to be in August. And while it's really cool to have the 20th anniversary for Attack of the Clones and Star Wars Celebration pretty much coincide,
Hmm.
I think it's Star Wars Day. You need to have a little more material on Star Wars Day. And I'm saying this because literally all we got was Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer and then toy information.
Yes.
That's it. We know Bad Batch is coming. Andor is supposed to be premiering in July, and
Yeah.
still nothing. So I think for something that everyone's like, oh yeah, may the fourth be with you. Like, can we have a little more data? I'm sorry, we did get Disney Gallery, the Book of Boba Fett, which was very cool,
Yes.
may I add. To see like the behind the scenes of that and everything. But and Chris is gonna make fun of me again because he's like, Katie, you got a marvelous trailer today. And I'm like, Chris, you have 4 different Marvel project trailers right now. So shut up. I love you.
It's we put our own. I'm gonna go ahead and say this also in the
And
defense
everyone
of,
in the GUA, I'm sorry, everyone in the GUA says that kind of stuff. But
in the defense of everybody in the GUA, like, and also to kind of throw shade at Marvel in a small way, is like they saw the visionary that is Kevin Feige saw, okay, we need to get our shit together in order for this to work. And it seems like, again, because a lot of people say that they're attempting to do this, and technically they are, people want to follow the Marvel money, and they're going about it in the way that they seem fit, which is, hey, I'm going to do this literally one step at a time, which is very much hurting every franchise that people are taking that approach to. DC and Star Wars,
mm-hmm.
you know, respectively. So I can't be mad at Chris for making that point of saying like, hey, at least you got a trailer. But at the same time, it's like you guys at Marvel are happy with what you got because you actually have somebody smart enough to know, hey, I need to think 5 steps ahead of myself before I fall flat on my face. While everybody else is just like, if I fall flat on my face, at least I can learn how to walk on my face. Like, it's not great.
That is very true. I can give you that. But yeah, and I mean, I said it last year too. I wish there was a little more oomph to what everyone thinks is Star Wars Day. So,
and I assume, again, I can very much eat crow at this, but I assume we're going to get a proper Andor trailer come Celebration. That's what I'm hoping. But, again, Lucasfilm always seems to surprise me with how they do their marketing. So, as Bubs is saying, go ahead, read it.
I was gonna say they need to do an MCU-esque slate of all the projects, but I think they've done that before, and the projects still don't happen. LOL. Yes, the last time they did that, I believe, was at like the first Disney Plus day, where Star Wars
it was
had
not
like an
considered it was
hour-long
not
panel.
considered a Disney Plus day. I think it was their Disney Investors Day. 2020 was when they put everything out there.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
But I still, and I think they did one at last year's, or I think they did one at a celebration after that. But it was literally a timeline of everything that we knew was filming or had filmed. It did not include any future projects. So
yes.
Maybe we'll see that at Star Wars Celebration, because there are several panels dedicated to the future of Star Wars. So because like Andor doesn't have a specific panel. I don't even think Andor was actually mentioned on No, actually, it was. It was mentioned in the first future
Okay,
of
Katie. I was
panel.
like, don't tell me that they forgot about Andor.
I'm gonna pull it up because I want to make sure.
Oh my god. Hey, you know this show that has been in the can for like 4 years?
4 years.
I'm probably exaggerating, but it definitely feels like that long. Yeah, it's we forgot about it too. Like, geez, please don't
Yes.
tell me that.
The only time it is mentioned on the Star Wars Celebration Anaheim panel schedule is for the Lucasfilms Studio Showcase, which is an hour-and-a-half long panel Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it literally says, current crop of live-action filmmakers will be joined by special guests to discuss the many Star Wars adventures coming soon, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and the Mandalorian. That's the only time it's mentioned.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like my chances. I may just back my statement up. We're probably not getting a trailer. Oh, shit.
S-Bub says it was pushed down to 3 seasons because they forgot about 4 and 5. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I can definitely believe that.
Mr. Limner popped into the chat. Hello, Mr. Limner.
Hello.
Welcome. I don't think you stuck around based on the viewer count that I'm seeing, but we still welcome you for your presence. So we talked about Ahsoka starting to film, and we're going to get out of the ho-hum Star Wars Day because it is Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th be with you, and it is a day for celebration. Y'all, I have way too much energy right now because of everything that happened this weekend, so I'm sorry if I'm a little chaotic. So Bespin Bulletin was the first to report that Ahsoka would begin filming in late April, and that was corroborated on by The Hollywood Reporter. But they both also said that it could slip into early May. It could slip into early May. And I think they've been saying, oh yeah, slipping. It's going to slip to next month. Slipping.
Wait, what was this? I'm sorry.
Bespin Bulletin has updates on the production of Ahsoka Grammar Rodeo, which we believe is the High Republic kids show that they're talking about filming this summer, and possibly a droid story. So they started off with Ahsoka, and they said, I was first to report that Ahsoka would begin filming in late April, which was later corroborated by The Hollywood Reporter, but that it could slip into early May. Currently, I do not know if filming has begun, and this post is from April 29th, 2022. He does not know, they do not know if filming has begun, but they've started working on creating sets at the train yard filming location used for The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sets due to be constructed at the train yard appear to be some kind of temple ruins, perhaps a Jedi temple, with sources telling me the set looks like ancient Roman ruins. He did manage to get a glimpse of the set. So let me share screen.
So it is currently, like you said, the day we are recording this is May the 4th. They said early May. What would be considered early and late May? The first 2 weeks, I would assume, would be early May. So we still have a week and a half to really see if they will announce that they are filming. And these sets look great. I mean, they look a little bit how oh shoot, I forgot the planet name where Luke was training Grogu. It kind of gives me that kind of vibe. Yeah. I don't know. This show, it has been a conundrum in the sense of how they are approaching the filming, because like you said, we got reports last September that it was going to be filming. Well, no, even earlier than that. I feel like last summer we were hearing that it was filming in the fall or winter of 2021. Then we heard, oh, it may be in the beginning of 2022. Now we're hearing spring, mid 2022. And, before we know it, hey, we may be pushing this to September of 2022.
And I know Rosario is a fairly busy person, but you've got to expect that when it comes down to this kind of stuff, especially shooting like this. Like, Ewan McGregor willingly pushed aside his stuff to come shoot this stuff. So I wonder if it's a behind the scenes stuff, because Rosario still seems to be very involved and wanting to get into production and everything. Um, so yeah, Ahsoka is supposed to be showrun by Dave Filoni. So we'll see what happens. Next up, Star Wars A Droid Story has remained extremely quiet since its announcement back in December 2020. Was originally slated to release in 2021. But in recent weeks, they've heard of various Lucasfilm related happenings at Pinewood Studios in London. And actors, motion capture artists, motion capture actors, and movement performers have been hard at work on a Star Wars project in recent weeks at Pinewood Studios, including last week. The initial belief that the project was the Acolyte until it was revealed by Illuminati, which I believe we talked about either last week or the week before, that production on that show had been delayed till October.
Yes.
So heavy motion capture would really indicate a droid story, which is supposed to follow, I believe it's C-3PO and R2.
Or, just putting it out there also, because we did get the news about a oh shoot, what's the anthology? The
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. It could, the heavy mocap insinuates either CGI or animation. So it could be Tales of the Jedi also.
Yeah. It's possible. But again, like Asweb said earlier, some of these projects have to go at some point. What are they gonna do? So Tales of the Jedi hasn't even technically been announced yet. So.
Yes, and that is also true. And although when I saw it, I was like, probably not gonna watch it. Something like A Droid Story, I feel like needs to come out because of the age group that is going to be really focusing on. As far as, we always talk about how Star Wars is for kids, Star Wars is for families. Like, I, staying here where I'm currently at now with my grandparents, I am seeing a lot of my second cousins that are literally just starting school and whatnot, and they're not allowed to watch live action Star Wars stuff because it's too violent and they get scared and everything else. So they're kind of stuck with the animation stuff. And in order to really get them into something like Star Wars, right now my only option is either the Lego stuff or Visions currently. And the Vision stuff is kind of, teetering the ledge on violence and stuff. So I think something like A Droid Story should be a priority for Star Wars to help fill in that gap for family-friendly content.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Though it is kind of sad. Tia Sarkar, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Sarkar, who voices, I think was she Sabine? I think she was Sabine.
I believe so. I was wanting to look it up because I did see that post that you shared today.
Yeah, let's look it up. Tia Sarkar. Yeah, she was Sabine.
Okay.
Yeah, Sabine Wren. And so a lot of people have been asking her if she's going to be attending Star Wars Celebration. And Official Picks is who has been running the guest bookings, I guess, for Celebration. They are not, she was told they're not focused on booking many voice over actor guests from Star Wars. So it's really disappointing to see, especially because animation is some of the greatest storytelling that Star Wars has to offer. So it's disappointing. I hope a lot of people have jumped on it and gone, hey, Official Picks, you need to kind of fix this, because Rebels is a big part of the Star Wars community. So,
I mean, not only is it a big part of the Star Wars community, But if you're picking up storylines from your animated shows where it wouldn't really be a story to tell if you didn't have these voice actors in it, like, you need to be counting these as part of your not only canon, but as like your content, like anything else, like
You're
your movies,
experts.
your yeah. So I think that is a big miss on Lucasfilm and just Star Wars in general's part.
Yeah. So it's sad to see. Now we haven't heard anything again about live action Sabine. I can't remember who was supposed to be for her. But it just sucks. I think I'm not going to Star Wars Celebration. So, and granted, I really wouldn't pay that much for an autograph from some of these people. Maybe if there was a specific somebody coming, but like,
I will be
I'm not
completely
that
honest.
person. I like books. I collect books.
I have dished out the cash to get some autographs. But you're right. It definitely depends on who it is. Like, to be completely honest, I wouldn't necessarily be willing to pay, bukus of money for Freddie Prinze Jr. I think it would be an awesome guy to talk to, but I wouldn't dish out that money. But if you're telling me that, and I
Mark
missed
Hamill.
this chance, I missed this chance, but here in San Antonio, both Hayden Christensen and Ian McGregor were both here in San Antonio. I think it was the beginning of last year, and I didn't have the time to go over and get their autographs, and it was a little bit of a pretty penny, and I was willing to be like, "Hey, Abby, this is gonna be my birthday gift to myself, my Christmas gift to myself, and I can't buy anything else for the rest of the year. Okay, I'm gonna buy this. Okay, bye." But I didn't get the chance to, but I would have. So it
Yeah,
really it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I completely understand why.
and that's true. And I'm not insulting anyone who chooses to go get these. I just that's insane amounts of money for me, and I'd just rather collect books. So that's all I'm saying. I am very particular, but yes. The last thing Bespin Bulletin had to talk about was Grammar Rodeo, which is the code name for the reported High Republic kids show that John Watts is rumored to be attached to, and he's leaving Fantastic Four, so who knows?
Yeah.
So it is due to film from June until December at Manhattan Beach Studios and also in Culver City. They've also recently learned that the Mysterious Project will also film at California State University, Dominguez Hills at some point. So no news on the specifics of the shoots, but just continuing information on a project that is another thing that's not been announced yet. So
well,
that's with a smile on my face. I love Star Wars, y'all. I love Star Wars, I promise.
You said the filming is reportedly going to be starting filming in June, so next month. And we don't have an official announcement. We don't have any castings, and we only have
John
a
Watts.
possible one director, because unless, and well, I guess Obi-Wan is going to be, as far as the TV shows, the only show that has one director, because everything else has multiple directors. I'm going to assume that, oh, you know what? Because this is a newer part of Star Wars that they're testing out, maybe John Watts is going to be the only. It's see, I can't say it's heavily character driven, because so is Mandalorian, and they have multiple directors. So I mean, I might be talking out of my ass here, but I don't know. Like, I think there should definitely be more to this show. And again, we know how silly Lucasfilm is with their supposed everything needs to be a secret. But I mean,
does it
people
really?
the general audience and even some Star Wars fans don't know about the High Republic because
Yep.
they're not spending their money on these novels.
Yep.
So get it out there, get people excited about this filming so that way they know, okay, there is something in the can that isn't just a Skywalker saga, you
Yep.
know?
It'll be interesting to see, and I wonder because maybe they roped in John Watts, and this is just a shot in the dark, y'all. But like, if it's going to be like younglings learning about the Force and stuff, I mean, the Spider-Man movies were pretty good, and so they primarily focused around younger teenagers, who were going to school. So that could be a good basis for something that John Watts is used to, and maybe Disney was like, "Hey, I really want you to come work on this and put what you did for Spider-Man in on this."
Yeah. I could definitely see that for sure. There was not a whole lot of schooling stuff. It was more just around the age demographic that those characters were playing.
Right. Which is,
And
and that's more what I meant is like the
yeah,
age
yeah, for
demographic
sure, for
of
sure.
stuff. So
And I was gonna say, oh wait, wasn't there supposed to be like I believe it was Dave Filoni that had said that they were interested in doing a youngling show at one point in the same animation of the Clone Wars, but then he realized, oh wait, there's not a whole lot of future for these kids. So
oh, that's
so
terrible.
it makes
That's
sense
terrible.
to do that with characters from the High Republic because they do have a future to actually see.
Yeah.
So
S-Bub
I could
says Natasha Lou Bordizzo is supposed to be Sabine in Ahsoka. Thank you, S-Bubs.
yes. Uh but I could definitely see them doing, hey, John, you have had great work with this age demographic and you put butts in seats, so maybe you will get people to subscribe to Disney Plus when they see your name attached to this you know young adult type show. So I could definitely see it.
I think so. I was looking for the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer and I'm subscribed to Star Wars, but there it is. They posted it 11 hours ago, probably on private. Never mind. Sorry. Dang, this was only a minute. Okay. Sorry. Again,
There
chaotic.
was so much in this trailer. And when because I believe it was Brent in our GUA chat, we were talking about characters that were showing up in there, and he's like, oh, I must have missed it. There was a lot happening.
Yeah.
You just telling me, I didn't even realize that it was only a minute long. That is a lot in 1 minute.
It was. But first things first, we gotta share this illustrious poster.
I love this poster.
This is a
I'm
great poster.
so glad that Chris shared
Hexless
a
poster? Yeah.
a non-title poster because I will most likely be saving this as my phone background for a little bit. But it looks great. I love the red lightsaber
Mm-hmm.
in the center there. Uh, it just looks amazing. I love this.
Yeah. And some people on Twitter pointed out that Darth Vader is like the center of Obi-Wan Kenobi, kind of like where his heart would be. So it
Yep.
kind of like shows Anakin is still very central to who Obi-Wan Kenobi is. And it just looks really great. I love the transparency. You have the twin suns. However, this landscape doesn't look familiar to Tatooine. So I would
I would
hesitate to
disagree.
say I would hesitate to say Darth Vader would be willing to go
Oh,
to Tatooine.
I hate sand, but I would say that it looks somewhat similar to the cliffs of where he found uh the sand people, where he murdered them because he jumped off the cliff because he was watching them from up there. He jumped off. I think it's similar to those cliffs, but you're right. I think because of his very, very hateful and complicated past, that he probably wouldn't want to set foot on Tatooine again.
Especially, like, he knows Obi-Wan Kenobi got away, but, like, you don't know where he's going to end up. Anakin thinks his kids died, or his kid died in Revenge of the Sith. So there's no reason for Obi-Wan Kenobi to go to Tatooine. So, if anything, I would go, okay, Obi-Wan's not going to go to Tatooine because he knows I have history there. So that would be the first place I check. But anyways, are we ready to talk about this fucking trailer?
Yes.
This awesome trailer.
Let's freaking do it.
Okay. Oh, I should share my screen first. That's important.
Yes,
Okay.
make sure to also, the volume needs to be muted. So for listeners, you can always go to Star Wars on YouTube and watch along with us. But we don't want this video being taken down. So
can you hear that?
I cannot.
Okay, cool. I don't have to mute the volume then. I can just talk over it and just listen in my headphones. Okay. Please don't judge my YouTube recommendations and recently watched videos.
It's all full of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
I found the case really interesting, okay?
I was joking. Was it really?
Yeah. There's legal bites. Those are like the first two things to look at, and then it's makeup and Try Guys. Ooh, Try Guys drunk versus high charades. Oh, I'm so excited for that. I'm gonna have to watch that later. Okay.
Oh, geez.
You're getting a glimpse into what I do. Okay. Oh, you can't have closed captions.
So in regards, because I can't quite remember, because like I said, I have only watched this trailer once. It was very, very early in the morning. Do we get the Obi-Wan proper theme in this trailer, or is it just the other sound bites that we get from the other trailers as far as like the traditional theme and everything else? I can't remember off the top of my head.
So you were asking the wrong person. I am terrible at music. So the big Star Wars things that I recognize, y'all, is Duel of the Fates, the Imperial March, and there's one other that I can't think of right now. But those are the ones. Oh, the Mandalorian one.
Yes.
And Duel of the Fates is my mother's ringtone for me. The Mandalorian is Matt's ringtone for me, and then Imperial March is my sister Ansley's ringtone for me. So
nice.
That's all I recognize, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're at the I can't remember the name of this planet, but we've got the stormtroopers and the fifth brother walking through, and then Inquisitor's landing.
This is all on Tatooine at this point. We are basically hearing the voiceover of Obi-Wan here, basically saying that, they need to be safe, they need to be cautious. But this scene here,
yes.
Oh
this
my
with Owen.
God.
Oh my gosh.
So we kind of contemplated on whether the relationship between Owen and Kenobi would be addressed here, as far as what their relationship is like in A New Hope. We see in A New Hope that, they call him Crazy Ben and all of this stuff, and there isn't a whole lot of likeness that we see on Owen's voice or on his face when he's talking about him in A New Hope. So when this scene happens, basically Obi-Wan is saying that when Luke becomes of age, he wants to train him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, this is 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. I don't know if I would 100% believe, and again, we've now seen, two different stories come out like this. We heard that we were going to be getting a very mopey, very sad, very dramatic story, but they wanted a little bit more hope in here, and so they changed some things up. But I don't really think Obi-Wan would necessarily be 100% gung-ho on training Luke 10 years in,
Right, and I think that's where I think this whole series is supposed to be set. 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. but I think we're going to have to get a little bit of lead in to see the relationship. We see a 9 to 10 year old Luke, um, like on top of the hut that the
Yeah.
Larses have. And I think that was in the first trailer, not necessarily this one. But this scene could very easily be at the start. This could be 6 months after Obi-Wan brings Luke to Tatooine.
Oh, I never really considered that. I never really thought that we would get like immediately after and then like a time jump to where the most of the series is taking place. That would be very, very interesting to kind of see if there is a like because we know Obi-Wan
Mhm.
dropped off Luke and seemingly just like walked away. But here it is clearly seeing that there is somewhat of interactions. So you're definitely right. It could be, hey, this is a 2-year-old Luke at this point of time, and he's showing interest in like, hey, maybe this is the very start of it all. And although Obi-Wan is sad, he still has a little bit of hope in the sense of like we could fix things in the galaxy. While we see in A New Hope where we are seeing a somewhat like relationship between Luke and Obi-Wan, but not necessarily a giant friendship between them. So I could
Yeah.
see them, over the years kind of getting sour over each other as far as Owen and Obi-Wan for sure.
Yeah, and you can see by the hair growth here because obviously in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan has like the short, not necessarily crew cut, but it's like not hanging off. It's not a
It's not
mullet.
the mullet that he had in the episode 2.
Right, but it's not the short one that he has in Revenge of the Sith. So some time has passed, and this is the big look that we get in the footage so far. But and we'll get more into it as we continue to go along. But I think this is more early on and not necessarily 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like You Trained His Father was so powerful. Like it was just like
You could see the hurt on Obi-Wan's face when that
mhm.
line was said.
Oh, this
And then
was
of course we see the
so this is fourth sister, third
yeah.
sister, and fifth brother. And fourth sister has primarily made a lot of appearances in the comics. And I'm gonna go ahead and broach this now but I think Reva, the third sister, has background with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and she's the one who wants to hunt him down versus Vader. Vader's like, screw it, I'm done. I don't need to worry about them. That's what y'all are here for. I think Reva is like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is still out there. We need to find him.
That'll be interesting. I can't necessarily see Vader necessarily kind of just like brushing him off necessarily, because what we have seen in the Star Wars canon as far as comics and everything else, and I understand comics are comics, movies are movies, blah blah, but they do treat them as canon. So I know that Vader was very uh, uh, adamant about finding the surviving Jedi after the
He
events of
was
Order 66 of
he
Revenge of the
was
Sith.
very adamant, I think, but the biggest thing I think is that Obi-Wan is like the bigger challenge for Vader, and he doesn't want to face his failings of Mustafar with Obi-Wan Kenobi because he knows he's going to have to get roped in. So I think he may be procrastinating that still as like I don't want to face this part.
Yeah.
And this voiceover that Moses Ingram does is very telling to that, I think. So
True. Then we get some shots of Obi-Wan, of course.
that's the Inquisitor Temple.
Yeah. But I believe, we get the old shot of the
Yes, this is prequel trilogy promotion from Attack of the Clones.
I
This
thought that
spot
was
right here.
really, really cool. Now, I did see some people wanting to know. I would like to see anybody decipher or translate what is on this screen here. I would really and I'm pretty sure all it is wanted, or like in the red dialogue, it's probably saying wanted or something, and it probably just has uh, his information, his name, his height, his weight, like everything that was last recorded at the Jedi Temple, probably.
Because that's Obi-Wan Kenobi, I want to say. No,
Okay.
Because, and I'm doing that primarily based on the dashes. So you got the three letters, and then the 6 letters for Kenobi. So that probably is.
Oh, that's true.
And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then his information. But I took a screenshot because I found the coordinating letter thing. So
okay,
maybe I'll go back and do that. I don't know.
Okay. And then the next footage is, of course, I think some bounty hunters probably going after Obi-Wan as well. We see some of the stormtroopers again. It looks like he's getting into a lot of heat, and it looks like he was on Tatooine here.
Yeah, this looks like he's on Tatooine. Not that. But this shot, he's in the desert. There's a lot more grass than I guess I'd expect for Tatooine, but we haven't seen all of Tatooine yet, no matter how many times it appears in Star Wars media.
This shot felt very weird to me. Again, I understand that desperate times call for desperate measures. He's trying to survive and everything else. But after the so uncivilized line of Revenge of the Sith, like, is he really needing a blaster? But at the same time,
he wouldn't be carrying around his lightsaber.
Yeah, for sure.
And ultimately, it's better for him to use the blaster than use the Force to try and take these troopers down. So
yeah,
and that's an Imperial probe droid back there. I find that very interesting.
Oh, nice
because
catch.
you already have stormtroopers there, so why would you need an Imperial probe droid?
Yeah. Oh, S-Bubs thinks that they will call back to the line so uncivilized.
Yeah, probably.
So, of course, we are getting our first look at...
sorry, before you say that, Moses in this trailer looks badass. Like, with the lightsaber movements and everything, it's not much. Again, this trailer's a minute and a half. So, Moses looked killer in this. But yes. Kumail Nanjiani. We get our first appearance look at who he will be. And my prediction was he was going to be Kitster. And there was going to be some relation on Tatooine and like him like talking back because Kitster and Anakin were best friends.
Yes.
This doesn't look like it here. This looks like a Jedi robe.
So you kept on saying, oh, he kind of looks like he's wearing Jedi robes. And I went back to what he was wearing in Phantom Menace. Those look like Padawan robes, but at the same time, it also looks like just the I don't want to say slave wardrobe, but like just it kind of looked like the same stuff Anakin was wearing as a kid. So I mean, maybe it's very stylish in Tatooine, very simple, you know. I don't know,
because you don't think Obi-Wan after 19 years in the desert is going to have his original Jedi robes to wear, right? That's going to be something he weaved or bought in Tatooine. So I'm still interested to see who he's playing. I hope he has a big role. So, but it doesn't look like he could be a part of the rebellion. He looks very scared in this second we get of him.
We are seeing the
Darth Vader getting put together
of Darth Vader here. And this is, of course, when we get the very classic breathing of Darth Vader. And I can't remember the exact dialogue here,
You can't escape him.
Yeah, you can't escape him. And then we see this really cool shot of Obi-Wan here.
And this looks like he has more hair growth than anywhere previously. So
Yes,
that's where I'm like,
especially in the
okay.
face and everything else.
Mhm.
So you might be right. There might be a time jump of some in this show to
He
show
looks
the
very
progress
weathered.
of his. I think more so to show the progress of Obi-Wan in his thinking of should he go back to being the Jedi Knight, the defender of the galaxy type thing. I think
Yeah.
that's what we will see.
Yeah.
And I believe that is really it for the trailer.
They take 12 seconds to show the logo and the Disney with the lightsaber.
I do appreciate the different color of the lightsaber on the Disney Plus. So I do appreciate that. Very, very cool stuff. But yeah, great trailer overall. Really excited about it. We have 3 weeks until
3
it
weeks.
drops. Oh man.
So that's it for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So do we want to dive into Force Awakens or we want to save that for later? What do you want to do? I'm open. Y'all, we
We
missed
were
out on
not
content a lot.
expecting.
So
Yeah, we actually. You know what? How about this? Because I am pretty sure I can hear, even through my headphones, Flynn is trying to make his way into this room by just jabbing his nose into the corner of where the door basically meets the wall. Let's go ahead and call it a day here.
yes,
We
and y'all, we
will.
got a lot of good tweets about their response to The Force Awakens when it first came out. All of those will be shared. We just had no faith that Star Wars was actually going to drop some content today, but we love content, so we're here for
Yes, we do. And we always fight for content. So we will go ahead and pitch Force Awakens for next week, just in case we don't have any content from now until then. And then we can review that movie. But yeah, let's go ahead and pitch it to then. You can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. Of course, you can go into the link tree, find all the shows that I host: DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Ranger Alliance, and of course Star Wars Alliance, and my newly added show, kind of a return to the show, because it was a little bit on hiatus and now it's back, over at Weird Science, the Weird Science manga podcast, where every single time I am featured on that podcast, we're going to be talking about the manga Dragon Ball, going from chapter 1 all the way through, and hopefully we will reach that of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, but that's a long time in the future. But it's going to be all fun. Katie, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Slice of Katie. Okay, reinvigorated again. I need one more good night of sleep and then I'll be back to normal, y'all, I promise. And Tilly's is doing much better though, so I'm thankful for that. My other podcast on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Podcast Network is at Slice Film 1. And Clay, I actually need to get you a podcast to edit. So I'll send that to you after this. Because that is up next week. Sarah and I will be talking Free Guy, so that will be very fun to listen to. And then the rest of the month is Top Gun related, so that will be a lot of fun. Super excited for that. And then this podcast is on Twitter. It's at Star Wars Lens. The A in the war is very important. Don't forget it. We are also on Instagram, and I'm going to start doing reels. I promise at some point. Maybe even TikToks. I don't know. This weekend was very stressful. So I'm just happy to have a weekend to chill and get everything situated. And y'all, I will be doing weekly reviews for Obi-Wan Kenobi either on FullCircleCinema.com or on my personal website, SlicerScribbles.com. I'm going to spend some time this weekend getting that website put back together because it has been in a state of disarray and it's time to fix that. So you can go check out either of those. And y'all, if you want to come on and talk about an episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we will be here every single Wednesday that it is airing at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to come join in the fun, we'd love to have you.
Except for the premiere, we are actually going to be having a special episode that Friday. We are going to be having an episode that Friday on the 27th, where we will be reviewing both episodes. So remember to put that in your calendar. But after that, we will be live every Wednesday night talking about the show. Yes.
So make sure you check us out on the Geekverse YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on the podcast feeds, that's where you can see us break down the trailer image by image. So with that, y'all, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the Force be with you.
See ya.